What's going on, YouTube world? My name's Tyler. I'm 40. I'm pseudo-retired here living in Jamaica. Short version is I'm a YouTuber technically. I know, it's weird for me to say too, but this is a safe space, so thank you. And yeah, we've been living in Jamaica for the last year and a half, have 3 foster boys and some neighbor kids that come by every once in a while. And I got asked an interesting question the other day, and I wanted to take some time to process it, to analyze it, to thoroughly dive into what an adequate response can and should be. And I want to take you guys with for that bit of reflection, not only for myself, but also to kind of get your insight on what you think, not only about the question and what it's asking, but also about the response and whether or not you think it's sufficient and adequate based on time that I've had to be able to try and process and the idea thoroughly wrapped around in the old noggin. So sit back, relax, enjoy the flight, metaphorically speaking, and let's process the question. Let's analyze the thoughts and ideas and see what you guys think of my response. So judging by the title itself, you probably have an idea what the question is about. Yes, I got asked the other day in one of the comments, literally just 5 letters, no, words, 5 words. But it made me stop and think and process and make some more time for thinking for it later. And that question is, do I have any friends? Interesting question, especially now that we've hit the ripe old age of 40 and we no longer have a work environment that we can maybe classify people in that category. So here's my response, and thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Hope everyone's doing well, and maybe ask yourself that same question by the time you get to the end of this. So here we go. The other day I was asked the question, do I have any friends? And when I got asked that question, I paused. Not because I didn't know the answer, but because the question felt so layered. Friend. It's a word we toss around easily, yet it carries so much weight. Is friendship about shared laughter, deep connection, or simply having someone to call when life gets hard? And how does that look now, in this chapter of my life? Friendship used to seem straightforward. In my 20s, it was easy. Friends were the people you saw regularly, the ones you shared your passions and dreams. In my 30s, friendships evolved into partnerships. Co-workers who made long work hours manageable, neighbors who brought lightness to busy days. But now, in my 40s, living a quieter life here in rural Jamaica, friendship feels different. Do I have the kind of friendships that people imagine? Weekly coffee dates or endless phone calls? Not really. But what I've come to realize is that friendship isn't always about those outward markers. It's about connection, and connection takes many forms. Take my wife, for example. She is, without question, the foundation of my life. If there's one constant in the shifting sands of friendship, it's her. What we share goes far beyond companionship. It's a deep, enduring partnership. She's the person I turn to when things feel uncertain, the one who knows me better, sometimes, than I know myself. Her presence is steady, like the roots of a tree anchoring me through the inevitable storms of life. There's a kind of unspoken understanding between us, built over years of shared experiences. I don't have to explain myself to her, she just knows. When the days are long or the boys are challenging, she's there with quiet encouragement or a knowing look that says, "We've got this." She's also my sounding board. When I'm lost in thought or overthinking something at 2 a.m., she listens. Even if no words are exchanged, her presence alone has a way of grounding me. It's not just love, it's trust, respect, and a shared sense of purpose. Beyond that, she's my partner in creating this life we built together. Raising 3 foster boys in a rural Jamaican community isn't always easy, but we tackle it as a team. She has this way of balancing me out. Where I might get caught up in details or frustrations, she brings calm and perspective. It's in the small things too. The way we sit together in the evenings, sometimes talking, sometimes silent, watching the sun dip below the hills. The way she supports me in the creative process of filming and editing my vlogs, always encouraging me to keep pursuing this passion. Even in her simplest gestures, cooking a meal, sharing a laugh, or lending her strength when mine falters, she reminds me that I'm never alone. If I had to define friendship now, I'd start with her. She's not just my wife, she's my closest companion, my greatest supporter, and the person who makes this life feel full, no matter how many friends I might have or lack. And then there are the boys. Craig, the eldest, often tests the limits of my patience. He's independent and headstrong, but I see so much potential in him. When he does open up, even in small ways, it feels like a breakthrough. Dave, on the other hand, is more introspective. He's steady and thoughtful, often observing before acting. He has a quiet strength, and though he doesn't always express it, I know he appreciates the stability we've given him. Junior, the youngest of the three, has this quiet determination that never fails to inspire me. Watching him celebrate his small victories, whether it's fixing a bike or learning something new, reminds me of the joy in persistence. And Mares, my 2-year-old grandson, is a constant source of light. His laughter fills our home, his curiosity keeps us on our toes, and his innocence reminds me to see the world with fresh eyes. Even Andre, the 6-year-old neighbor boy who practically lives at our house, adds to this mosaic of connection. Articulate, confident, and full of energy, he brings a liveliness to our days that's hard to ignore. These relationships don't fit into the conventional definition of friendship, but they're meaningful all the same. They remind me that connection isn't always about proximity or constancy. It's about depth and presence in the moment. So when I think about that question, do you have friends? I realize it's not about ticking a box or meeting an expectation. Friendship, like life itself, evolves. In this chapter, it looks like the steady companionship of my wife, the growing bond with my boys, the joy of my grandson, and the fleeting but real connections with the strangers who become part of our story through YouTube. Friendship isn't always about who you have beside you. Sometimes, it's about the strength of the foundation you stand on, the relationships you nurture, the love you give and receive, and the peace you find within yourself. For me, that foundation starts with my wife and radiates outward into the life we built together. And in this chapter, that's more than enough. What is a friend? No. Longer chasing English. Take madness. I had some time. I'm retired. It's what we do. Hold on, my wife's talking.